Well, here we go for yet another one. Let's talk about this border situation right now. So, approximately, I think it's 9,000 migrants have come into the country. They are under the Del Rio International Bridge, and they're being charged with trespassing since this is a state matter and not a federal government matter. So let's talk about this a little bit more. There's a lot of details I think that are going to come out or may not, and it's going to be placed somewhere on some random site somewhere and not mentioned. Now, most of these migrants are from Haiti. They're from Haiti. Del Rio port of entry, recent influx of Haitian immigrants. Haitian. How does that happen? I don't know. I mean, obviously, they get on a ship of some sort and get over here. And more accurately, they probably land in Mexico or further south. Probably Mexico, though, would be the easier way. And they travel up north. Operation Lone Star. So this is kind of what the Operation Lone Star is really part of. This is the whole build the wall in Texas, that sort of thing. The state's controversial new program enacted by Abbott in March to crack down on border crossings includes jailing asylum seekers, making disaster declarations, and building a border wall. This program is independent of and sometimes at odds with federal border control efforts. Had arrested nearly 6,000 migrants crossing the U.S.-Mexico border as of the September 2nd. $11 million contract at the border. So more about Operation Lone Star. Border report says deployment of more than 1,000 Texas state troopers to the Rio Grande Valley resulting in a large number of traffic citations issued in 4 predominantly Hispanic communities along the border. They're kind of rubbing this all in and kind of making it worse. Now, this is NPR, so I take it with a grain of salt. But yeah. The thing is, this is kind of the idea behind theory versus reality. A lot of people can talk about communism all day, right? They can talk about communism, they can talk about Marx, and they can talk about Lenin, and they can talk about Engels, talk about Stalin, whomever else. But the reality is that immigration was reduced. They didn't just let anybody into the Soviet Union, and they didn't just let, everyone go out. It was much more regulated than what you thought. Now, of course, they'll say, oh, well, the Soviet Union was reactionary. It was this and that. Oh, it was so awful. All the lefties today, for the most part, apart from some MLs, genuine MLs, will take up the anarchist line. Or they will take up the so-called post-leftist stance. I'm trying to think of the left communist stance. The whole, real socialism never occurred, has never been achieved sort of things. And this is kind of what I was talking about with Justin King, a.k.a. Bo the Fifth Column. This idea where it's just like, oh, well, they want to be free from the state. They want to be free from the state from telling them what to do. They still want to have a piece of land. They don't want all these people on their land. So this whole, like I say, man, this whole idea of being stateless and classless or whatever, it's like, they may not believe in a state, but they sure as hell want their land. And they don't want people trespassing either. They're going to shoot them. So this comes into conflict. Now, I'm sure that there are other aspects that will come about, but you see these 9,000 migrants being held under the Del Rio International Bridge. work to process them all. The thing is that this is just like the other, border caravan, this and that. I can't get that angry or get that sort of upset. It's just like, well, it happened, whatever. I mean, that's how I feel about it. I'm sorry, but the reality is, in my opinion, the reality with this sort of story is we're going to hear about it. Republicans are going to, be somewhat racist, and then, will eventually back up off it and, try to say, well, we're not completely racist. Dems will be like, look how fascist Texas is or whatever. Look how bad Governor Abbott is and all this sort of thing. Look at the evil Operation Lone Star, this and that. And then we're going to forget about it in about a week. So, I mean, this is what I'm saying about the reality of immigration, I think, and indeed, of migration to these different areas, is that you're not going to be accepted necessarily as, one of them. The thing is, Florida has a huge Haitian community. Little Haiti in, Miami, Florida, huge Haitian. Let me see here. In Florida. Now, I imagine Florida is going to be, 533,409 Haitians are in Florida. Numero uno. Let me see here. Haitian Americans in politics. U.S. states with largest Haitian population. Of course, Florida is number one. And that's probably what would happen. I mean, if Texas releases them, they would go to Florida because obviously, huge Haitian population. Miami-Dade County awaits, Florida, New York, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Connecticut, Maryland, California, Illinois. U.S. metropolitan areas. Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach is number one, of course. Yep. Second, New York, Northern New Jersey, Long Island, Boston, Cambridge, Quincy, Orlando, Kissimmee, Sanford, Philadelphia, Camden, Wilmington, Atlanta, Sandy Springs, Marietta, Bridgeport, Stamford, and Norwalk, Tampa, St. Petersburg, Clearwater, and that's Florida. I know I'm skipping the states, but sometimes it's pretty obvious. Washington, Arlington, Alexandria, D.C., VA, Maryland, West Virginia, MSA. I'm not sure what. Oh. And then we have Jacksonville, Florida. So Florida takes up, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 10 spots. Once again, like I say, Florida is pretty much Haiti, isn't it? I mean, Florida, if you want to really break it down, I guess Florida is part Cuba and part Haiti, if you really want to see it that way, right? But Florida, man, is always some crazy honky. It always is. I mean, I get it. Like I say, white people can be crazy. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that from Wignat point of view, like, oh, look at these evil brown people. Honkies do some dumb shit. Let's be honest. I'm not even going to sit here and be for real about it. But yeah, a lot of the Haitians coming in. Now, of course, the thing is, a lot of folks kind of somewhat mention, but they don't like to, is, of course, the split between Haiti is only half of the island. The other half, of course, being, I'm trying to think of it now because I'm too much of a boomer. I'm an idiot. The other, I'm sorry. The other half being the Dominican Republic. Now, of course, this is where, you get into colorism, this and that, where a lot of those dark-skinned brothers and sisters will say, no, man, we Hispanic, man, we Hispano, man, right? And there are plenty of folks who will say that, right? They speak Spanish and they consider themselves Dominican. They don't consider themselves Haitian. And of course, people say, oh, the white supremacist techniques, and And of course, like I say, there was a leader kind of in the way of maybe like a Salazar that ruled over the Dominican Republic for a long time. I'm getting into topics that I'm drowning on, so let me get out of that. The thing is, though, is the fact is with immigration is you're going to go where things look like home. That's not racist. That's just the truth. So, if you're Russian, you're going to feel comfortable, at least for a time, being in Brighton Beach. If you're Haitian, you're going to go to Florida. You're going to go to Miami. You're going to go to Fort Lauderdale. You're going to go to these places. You're apparently going to go to Massachusetts. Because guess what? There's a lot of Haitians that are there, right? So you can have, let's see here. Let me try not to be racist. I'm going to Haitian dishes. Haitian dirt cookies. Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay. Let's look at some Haitian dishes here right quick. Poulet au noix. Poulet, yeah, poulet, so chicken. So mouth-watering dish that centers around chicken and walnuts. Interesting. Pickles. Jomeau. Haitian patty. Let me see here. But yeah, Haitian influence. Taino and Spanish techniques. Let's see here. Yeah, Hispaniola. Just right quick. I'm gonna try not to be prejudiced here, but yeah. So I mean, if you move to, there and you want to have a Haitian patty, right? Which are made of either ground beef, chicken, salted cod, smoked herring. It's interesting. I saw a little documentary again on the late Craig Mack. The late Craig Mack. For those that don't know, Craig Mack was signed to Bad Boy Records and was pretty much just fucked over by P. Diddy in favor of Notorious B.I.G. around 1993, 94 time frame. And he eventually left, talked some shit about Diddy, tried to go indie. Didn't really work out too well. And eventually he joined like a Christian cult and passed away within its perimeter, I guess, within the area, and is buried on their premises. So there you go. Anywho, I'm getting way off topic. West African fufu, I've heard of that. Rum, obviously Jamaican rum, famous for that. But yeah, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and end it there. It's a very complicated situation of what we see on the border. I'm going to try not to be racial about it. It is what it is. I'm sure that, various folks are going to talk about it, but it's going to be forgotten within a couple days, and we'll move on to the next thing about whatever dumb shit Biden does or something to do with General Milley. I'm sure General Milley is going to catch some sort of bullshit. And he's going to be like every other general, where once he leaves, he's going to be set for the rest of his life. He's going to be in some think tank. He's going to be president of a bank. He's going to be involved with, like Raytheon, whichever, right? But of course, a lot of the mainstream, I'm being very specific here, the Bowl of the Fifth Columns will not call him out for that. They'll still call General Milley a hero because, he's been in the military since 1980. He could have retired. Well, shoot, he must be a great guy. Even though he did talk with a Chinese general, I mean, who cares, right? I mean, that's what people think. But anywho, that's all I got to say. This one was a little more ranty. And hopefully tomorrow I will get to the Ernst Jünger a recording. So hopefully y'all enjoy that. So see you later. Goodbye.